Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, and I'm here to bring you the number one card that will be released in the Tarkir Dragonstorm set. Because why? Because it is an alternative win condition. And we haven't had this type of card for a very long time. This card does remind me of Coalition Victory, you old heads out there who play Magic the Gathering. But this card is just a little bit different, and it's Dragon Tribal. Obviously, Tarkir Dragonstorm is going to be Dragon Tribal. But I got two things to say. Players, start putting in target removal enchantment. Okay? If you don't start putting that into your deck, you will lose games to cards like this. And you're already probably losing games anyway because you don't have any removal enchantment. I'm about to make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. For white, blue, black, red, and green, Call of the Spirit Dragons cost a total of 5 mana, all 5 colors. It is an enchantment that says, dragons you control have indestructible. Okay? At the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put a +1/+1 counters on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. You need 5 dragons on the battlefield. Fortunately, they have indestructible. And when they have indestructible, your opponents can't destroy them. They only can be exiled. So this gives you a fighting chance to trigger the win conditioning triggered ability. Now, you will need 5 dragons. Also, players started putting in changelings because changelings have every creature type. So they will be easier to cast because they generally have lower CMC compared to your big boy dragons. But let's talk about 2 commanders that are dragon tribals. And if you stick around, I'm about to tell you a way to win with this card on the same turn that you cast it. So we got to talk about the most popular dragon commanders. The Ur-Dragon for 4 and WUBRG. It's a 10/10 dragon avatar. It has the ability of Evanescence. If you don't know what it does, it literally reduces your dragon spells by 1, even if this commander is in the command zone or on the battlefield. Then it has flying. Okay, whenever one or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Cool. So this dragon is just drawing you cards and slamming stuff from the cards that you draw or cards that are in your hand onto the battlefield. Easy as that. It's just an overpowered dragon that does you can just put your entire library onto the battlefield if it is uncontrolled. Next up, we got Tiamat for 2 in WUBRG. It's a dragon god, 7/7 body flyer. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat. They each have different names. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. This is probably going to be the most famous, most popular way to get 5 dragons on the battlefield. Or actually put 5 dragons from your library into your hand and give you the opportunity to put them onto the battlefield. You're going to search for dragons of 5 different colors, obviously, to meet the alternative win condition. So these are going to be the 2 popular commanders. I do want to share one commander that was a possibility. Before you start going on EDH Rec and Scryfall, players are looking for WUBRG commanders, and you may come across Golos Tireless Pilgrim. It's banned. I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. It's banned. So before y'all even get like, oh, I found a card to play it, blah, 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 blah. It's not Dragon Commander, blah, 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 blah. Hey, it's banned. So just don't even try. The reason why it's banned because supposedly it made EDH games very monotonous. See EDH games very monotonous. Monotonous, is that the right word? I'm trying to say it right. Very linear. So it was just you're doing the same thing every turn. There was no variability of your game. When you play a game of Commander, every shuffle, every play is just possibly a different type of game, and you're figuring out that puzzle. Well, Golos Tireless Pilgrim just eliminated that. But moving on to 3 cards that can help you win the game that same turn that you cast Call the Spirit Dragons. So before I even read off individually what these 3 cards are, you may know them or you may not know them. These cards give you an additional upkeep phase because if you read Call the Spirit Dragons, it says trigger the ability at the beginning of your upkeep. It doesn't say any upkeep specifically. It doesn't say your first upkeep. It just says upkeep. So let me read these 3 cards to you. First up on the left-hand side, we got Sphinx of the Second Sun for 6 and 2 blue. It's a flying Sphinx for 6/6 body. It says at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, that's after you do combat phase, there's an additional beginning phase after this phase. The beginning phase includes the untap, upkeep, and draw step. So you already can tell the scenario. If you have the 5 dragons and you're able to put the 5+1/+1 counters on them, and you go to your second untap phase, upkeep phase, you could win the game. Yeah. Next up, we got Obeka Splitter of Seconds for 1 and Grixis colors, 2/5 body, Ogre Warlock. So she has Menace. She says whenever Obeka Splitter of Seconds deals combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phase. Oh, oh, oh. So, if you use this as your commander, you are cloning her and making non-legendary copies of her so you can attack each of your opponents. And she gets really abusive because if you have extra combat steps, and ultimately you'll get extra upkeep steps for every time you deal damage to your opponents. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, she's just another low CMC creature that is able to create additional upkeep steps, giving you the opportunity to trigger Called Spirit Dragons on that same turn. Next up, we got Shadow of the Second Sun for a total of 6 mana, 4 and 2 blue. It's an enchantment aura. Enchant player. You're going to enchant yourself here. At the beginning of enchanted player's post-combat main phase, there's an additional beginning phase after this phase. The end step happens after the added untap, upkeep, and draw steps. Easy. Same thing. Moving on to enchantment tutors. I'm not going to go too deep into this because these are two of them are going to be your staple enchantment tutors, right? Or permanent tutors. The last one, I know you new players have never seen this card. You probably read it and saw it and be like, I would never use this card. But guess what? I found a purpose for it. As you get to know me, I like finding old cards and put them in new decks. I love it, love it, love it. Anyway, let's talk about Enlightened Tutor. You know what it does. It's an instant, super expensive spell, as in price-wise. For 1 white mana, search your library for an artifact or enchantment card, reveal it, shuffle it, and put that card on top. Easy. Next up in the middle, we got Planar Bridge. For 6 mana, legendary artifact. Tap a total of 8 mana, tap it. Search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. I don't know how much this costs, but I don't think it's not that expensive. It can't be. Maybe $3. But here's my favorite card that I want to show y'all. Wild Research. For 2 and a red, it's an enchantment. It has 2 abilities, activated abilities. Tap 1 and a white. Search your library for an enchantment card and reveal that card. You're going to reveal Call of the Spirit Dragons. Put it into your hand, then discard a card at random from your hand and shuffle your library. I know. It is random. You could possibly lose that card. But heck, this is an enchantment. It just sits on the battlefield and you just activate its ability. Can't beat it. Next up, you got for 1 and a blue, search your library for an instant card and reveal that card. Put it into your hand, discard it at random from your hand. Same thing except for it's an instant card. But this is pretty nasty because instant cards could have, I don't know, blank abilities, flashback, reanimation. I don't know. The list goes on. You could even bring search for an enlightened tutor. I don't know, but you can get creative. I like Wild Research. It's a fun card. It's a nice gambling type of card. Why not try?